Welcome back to the Crypto Deep Dive. I'm Lori, here with Nick, and today we're diving deep into Ripple. Most people know Ripple for cross-border payments, but lately they've been making some major moves to build out an entire financial ecosystem around crypto. From technology to prime brokerage to custody services, Ripple's positioning itself as way more than just a payments company. We're going to cover their history, the key figures behind it, some of the wild theories, their fight with the SEC, and what could be coming next for XRP. Let's get into it.
This one's packed. Let's jump right in.
Not so fast. Let's first quickly look at the market today, 22nd April 2025. Bitcoin stands at USD 93,843. Ethereum is sitting at about USD 1,801. XRP is at 2.1825. We've got XLM at just over 28 cents. Sol is at $147. And ADA is trading at just over 69 cents. All right, Nick, let's start simple. What's Ripple's backstory?
Sure, Ripple was originally conceived around 2012, but its roots go back even earlier. It's actually tied to a guy named Ryan Fugger, who started work on a decentralized currency system called Ripple Pay back in 2004. Fugger's idea was all about empowering individuals to create their own money. Pretty idealistic. Want to know a really stunning fact? If you think the name Fugger sounds familiar, then you are not too wrong.
The suspense.
So, the Fugger family was a prominent and influential German banking dynasty during the 15th and 16th centuries. Originating from Augsburg, they started as weavers, but rose to immense wealth and power through trade, mining, and banking. Jakob Fugger, known as Jakob the Rich, played a pivotal role in their success, financing the Habsburgs and gaining significant influence in European politics and economics. The Fuggers held a near monopoly on the European copper market and were instrumental in shaping the financial landscape of their time. They remained loyal to the Catholic Church, which aligned them closely with the Habsburg emperors. Despite their business ceasing in the mid-17th century, the family transitioned into nobility and retained their wealth through land ownership and other ventures.
Oh, wow. They were at the forefront of the financial system at that time, and Ryan Fugger is a descendant that dynasty. So Fugger kicked it off, but then who really built Ripple into what we know today?
That would be Jed McCaleb, Chris Larsen, and a few others. They approached Fugger, got his blessing to evolve the project, and founded OpenCoin, which later rebranded to Ripple Labs. Chris Larsen is one of the most well-known figures. He's still heavily involved. Then there's Brad Garlinghouse, the current CEO, and David Schwartz, the CTO, who's like the brainiac architect behind a lot of the XRP ledger's technical design. And don't forget Stuart Alderoty, Ripple's chief legal officer. He's been leading the charge against the SEC.
Speaking of the technology, what's so special about the XRP ledger?
The XRP ledger is fast, cheap, and energy efficient. It can settle transactions in about 3 to 5 seconds, which is way quicker than Bitcoin or Ethereum. It uses a consensus protocol rather than mining, so it's greener. Ripple's main offering to institutions is RippleNet, a network that helps banks and payment providers send money across borders quickly and cheaply. Some use XRP for liquidity, others just use the messaging part.
Okay, I've seen some wild stuff online, crazy theories about Ripple. Hit me with a few.
Yeah, the rabbit hole goes deep. One big one. Ripple's original incorporation listed a matrix-style name, Newcoin Inc., before rebranding. Some people link this to the movie The Matrix and theories about awakening and financial freedom. Another, the 1992 movie Sneakers has an interesting reference. There's a scene with a black box that can hack any system. And guess what? There's a sneaky XRP flash in the background. Also, if you put Ripple's incorporation details through certain converter websites, names like Brad Garlinghouse supposedly pop up through hidden metadata. Some say it's coincidence. Others call it predictive programming.
That's wild. Internet detectives are on another level. All right, back to reality, the SEC lawsuit. What's the latest there?
So, huge news recently. After years of battling it out, Ripple and the SEC have finally reached a partial settlement. Ripple agreed to pay a $50 million fine, which is actually a massive reduction from the $125 million the SEC originally wanted, and that was already downward adjusted from, $2 billion? Anyway, it's being seen as a win by a lot of people in the crypto community because not only is the fine significantly lower, but it also signals that the SEC's position wasn't as strong as they first made it seem.
That definitely sounds like a win. And didn't Ripple take a bit of a cheeky jab at the SEC with how they wanted to pay?
Yeah, this part's wild. Ripple reportedly offered to settle the fine by paying an XRP itself, the very token the SEC tried to argue was a security. It's seen by a lot of people as a tongue-in-cheek slap in the face, especially directed at Gary Gensler, the former SEC chair, who's been extremely hostile toward crypto. It's a power move for sure, almost like Ripple's saying, "You want a fine? Cool. Here's some of the security you said was illegal."
That's next level trolling. Some people say Ripple has been suppressing the XRP price. What's the deal there?
Yeah, that's a hot topic. Ripple sells XRP through over-the-counter deals, or shorter, OTC, to institutions, rather than letting big buyers scoop it up on public exchanges. Some argue this holds back retail price action. Plus, regulatory uncertainty has scared a lot of US investors and funds away. If Ripple's win finally gets fully confirmed by the SEC, the favorable settlement is completed, and crypto regulations are introduced, the dam could break.
So what could actually push XRP's price up?
Several things. First, ETFs. If XRP ETFs get approved, those funds would need to hold real XRP, potentially squeezing supply. Some argue that if the ETFs source their XRP from exchanges and not OTC, it could cause a supply shock. Second, tokenization of real-world assets like real estate or bonds on the XRP ledger. Every tokenized asset would burn a tiny bit of XRP, reducing supply over time. Third, institutional adoption for cross-border payments. If major banks really start using XRP to settle multi-billion-dollar transactions, that's serious volume flowing through.
Has Ripple made any big moves recently?
Definitely. Ripple's been making serious plays to expand its reach. One of the biggest was their acquisition of Hidden Road, a major multi-asset prime brokerage. The deal is said to be worth about $1.25 billion US.
Hidden Road, what does that mean for Ripple?
It's a major strategic shift. Hidden Road processes over $3 trillion in trading volume each year across crypto, FX, and other markets, serving more than 300 institutional clients. By acquiring them, Ripple isn't just focusing on payments anymore. They're expanding into trading, custody, and lending services. This puts Ripple right at the heart of where traditional finance and crypto meet. It also makes them the first crypto company to own and operate a truly global, multi-asset prime broker. It's a bold move to strengthen their institutional offerings. Just imagine the bulk of the annual trading volume being settled over the XRP ledger.
That's huge. And I remember hearing something about Medico too, right?
Exactly. Before Hidden Road, Ripple also acquired Metaco, a Swiss-based digital asset custody provider. That deal was worth about $250 million. Metaco specializes in secure custody solutions for banks and institutions that want to hold crypto assets safely. With Metaco and now Hidden Road under their umbrella, Ripple's building a full stack infrastructure, custody, trading, liquidity, all tightly integrated. It's not just about cross-border payments anymore. It's about offering everything institutions need to enter the crypto world smoothly and securely.
So basically, Ripple's gearing up to be a one-stop shop for institutions in crypto.
Exactly. They're setting themselves up not just to survive this next cycle, but to lead it.
All right, Nick, big question to wrap up. Where do you think Ripple and XRP are headed from here?
Honestly, Ripple's setting itself up for a massive next chapter. With the SEC case mostly behind them, the Hidden Road and Metaco acquisitions under their belt, and a clearer global regulatory environment forming, Ripple's transforming into a full-service financial infrastructure player. XRP's use case is expanding along with it, especially if tokenization of real-world assets and institutional adoption really take off. If a few major catalysts hit, like an XRP ETF, increased on-chain utility, or real institutional flow through their ecosystem, we could see a serious supply shock, and with it, a major price movement.
So Ripple isn't just fighting for survival anymore, they're building to lead the next financial wave?
Exactly. They're no longer just solving cross-border payments, they're building the financial rails for the future. If they keep executing like they have been, XRP could be one of the breakout stories of the next few years.
Love it. That's a wrap for today's deep dive. Thanks for hanging out with us. Make sure you subscribe, leave a review, and we'll catch you in our next episode for another crypto deep dive.
Catch you next time.